My name is Harper Foster, and I'm 32 years old. 8 years of sacrifice vanished in a single day when my sister spent my entire $127,000 house fund on a Mercedes, while I was at work closing the books for quarter end. When I confronted my family at our emergency meeting, my mother's response still echoes in my mind. Why are you making drama over nothing? It's just money, and family shares everything. But what happened next changed our family forever, and by the time the dust settled, every single family account was frozen. My sister's Mercedes was repossessed, and I held documents that proved I controlled everything, documents they never knew existed. Before I share how one decision by my grandfather 3 years ago gave me the power to stop my family's financial abuse, please take a moment to like and subscribe, but only if you genuinely enjoy this story. I'd love to know where you're watching from and what time it is in your corner of the world. Drop a comment below. Now, let me take you back to that Friday evening when everything unraveled. The Golden Dragon restaurant had been our family's gathering spot for 20 years. Every celebration, every crisis, we'd solved them all over their famous Peking duck. But that Friday at 7 p.m. felt different the moment I walked through those red lacquered doors. 20 relatives were already seated at the long banquet table. My aunts whispered behind their hands. My uncles avoided eye contact. Even my cousins, usually glued to their phones, watched me with an uncomfortable intensity. Mom stood at the head of the table, her pearls catching the chandelier light. She'd worn her important announcement outfit, the navy suit she saved for church and funerals. Dad sat beside her, hands folded, studying the tablecloth like it held the secrets of the universe. And then there was Mia. My 26-year-old sister sat directly across from where I'd be sitting, spinning a key fob between her manicured fingers. The Mercedes logo caught the light with each rotation. She didn't even try to hide her smirk. "Harper, finally," Mom said, gesturing to the empty chair. "We've been waiting." I remained standing. "Where's my money?" The restaurant's ambient chatter seemed to pause. Our waiter froze mid-pour at the next table. Mom's laugh was practiced, performative. "Sweetheart, that's what we're here to discuss, as a family." "There's nothing to discuss. That was my house down payment." "Which you kept in a joint account," Mom reminded me, her voice patient, like she was explaining something to a child. "An account I'm on, for emergencies." "A Mercedes isn't an emergency." Mia finally spoke, her voice dripping with fake sweetness. "It is when you need a car for job interviews. Or would you prefer I stay unemployed forever?" Aunt Susan nodded approvingly. "She has a point, Harper. Young people need reliable transportation." She could have bought a Honda for $20,000. "But the Mercedes was such a good deal," Mia protested. "Fully loaded, only 2 years old. With my money." Mom raised her hand for silence. "Harper makes good money, 6 figures at that accounting firm. She can save up again." She looked around the table, gathering support. "Family helps family. That's how we've always done things." The relatives murmured agreement. Of course they did. They'd been living off this philosophy for years, just never to this extent. My phone buzzed. A text preview flashed on the screen, but I couldn't read it yet. Not with 20 pairs of eyes watching my every move. 8 years. That's how long I'd been the family ATM. It started small after college. "Harper, can you cover dinner? You make the most." Then it escalated. "Harper, your cousin needs books for school." "Harper, the roof needs fixing, and you're the only one who's liquid." They called me the calculator behind my back. Mom's favorite phrase was, "Harper's too rigid. She needs to learn that love doesn't keep receipts." But love, apparently, did keep taking withdrawals. Every family gathering followed the same script. I'd arrive to find a new crisis that somehow required my checkbook. Dad's car needed transmission work, $3,000. Mia's laptop died during finals, $2,000. Mom's dental emergency, $5,000. Always emergencies, never anyone else's responsibility. "You're so blessed with that corporate job," Aunt Linda would say, patting my hand while eyeing my designer bag. the one luxury I'd allowed myself in 2 years. God provides for those who share. The joint account had been Mom's idea 3 years ago. For convenience, she'd said. So I can help manage your finances. You work such long hours. I'd agreed because Grandpa was dying, and I didn't have energy to fight. Between hospice visits and working 60-hour weeks to make senior accountant, I'd simply added her name and moved on. That was my first mistake. My second was telling Mom about the house fund. "I'm so proud of you," she'd said, tears in her eyes. "Your grandfather would be thrilled." Now, sitting in this restaurant, watching Mia flaunt those keys while Mom orchestrated this public ambush, I finally understood. I wasn't family to them. I was a resource, a walking bank account with daughter and sister labels slapped on for easier access. My phone buzzed again. This time, I looked. "She's being dramatic as usual," Mia announced to the table, loud enough for nearby diners to hear. "This is why she's still single at 32. No man wants a woman who counts pennies." Uncle Mike chuckled. "Money's meant to be spent, Harper. What good is it sitting in an account?" "It was for a house," I said quietly. "You can rent," Cousin Jessica chimed in. "Lots of people rent forever." "Besides," Aunt Susan added, stirring her tea, "family investment is more important than property." Mia needed this boost for her confidence. "You should see how happy she's been." Happy. My sister was happy with my stolen future. Dad finally looked up. "Your mother and I discussed this. We think you're being selfish." That word hung in the air like incense. Heavy. Suffocating. "Selfish," I repeated. "You make $125,000 a year," Mom said, as if my salary was public property. "Mia's just starting out. The least you can do is help your sister establish herself." The other diners were definitely watching now. Some pretended to eat while obviously eavesdropping. One woman at the bar had her phone angled our way, probably recording. "So you all knew?" I scanned the table. "You all knew she took my money, and you're fine with it?" The silence was my answer. My phone lit up with another text, this time from a contact labeled Thompson Law. 3 words that made my spine straighten. "Ready when you are." The text from Thompson triggered a memory so vivid I could smell the antiseptic from Grandpa's hospital room. 3 years ago, 2 days before he died, Grandpa had grabbed my hand with surprising strength. His eyes, clouded with pain medication, suddenly sharpened. "Harper," he'd whispered, "you're the only one I trust." "Don't talk like that, Grandpa. Mom and Dad are good people who make terrible decisions." He'd coughed, wincing. "Your mother, she loves too freely. Your father follows too easily. But you have backbone." He'd pointed to his briefcase in the corner. "Thompson has everything. When you need it, and you'll know when, call him." "Grandpa, what are you talking about?" "The family thinks I'm leaving them the house, the investments, everything." His grip tightened. "I did. But not how they think." I'd wanted to ask more, but the nurse came in with his medication, and soon he was sleeping. 2 days later, he was gone. After the funeral, I'd been too grief-stricken to think about his cryptic words. Mom handled the estate, or so she said. The house stayed in the family, life continued. But Thompson had called once, 6 months after Grandpa died. "Miss Foster, I'm holding some documents for you. Your grandfather's instructions were to wait until you needed them." "I don't understand." "You will," he'd said simply. "When the time comes, you'll know." Now, sitting in this restaurant watching my family justify theft with love, I finally understood. It was time. The math was simple, brutal, and undeniable. $127,000 represented 2,920 days of brown bag lunches while my coworkers ate sushi. It was 8 years of wearing the same winter coat while Mia bought a new designer jacket every season. It was every declined happy hour, every skipped vacation, every "sorry, I can't afford it" while I watched my friends live their lives. Let me paint you a picture, I said, my voice carrying across the restaurant. Every morning at 5 a.m., I'm on the train to work. Every night at 9 p.m., I'm still at my desk. Weekends? I'm doing freelance accounting to add to that fund. We all make sacrifices, Mom started. No. I pulled out my phone, opening Instagram. You post spa days twice a month. Dad's at the golf club every Saturday. And Mia? I turned the screen toward the table. Mia's latest post, uploaded an hour ago, showed her leaning against the white Mercedes, designer sunglasses reflecting the sunset. The caption read, "Blessed to have family who supports my dreams. Hatch new car, hashtag best sister ever, hash Mercedes life." 47 likes, 12 comments, all congratulating her. That's not just my car payment she's posing with, I continued. That's my wedding fund. That's the nursery I plan to paint yellow. That's the backyard where my kids would have played. You're not even engaged, Mia scoffed. Because David and I were waiting until we could afford a house. The words exploded out. He's been saving too. We had a plan, a timeline, and you just took it. Mom waved dismissively. If David loves you, he'll understand that family comes first. He called an hour ago. Want to know what he said? He asked if the wedding fund was safe, because we're supposed to put the deposit on the venue next week. The relatives shifted uncomfortably. A wedding was different. That was real to them in a way my house wasn't. And the interest rates? I pulled up my banking app. They've risen 2% since I started saving. Every month I wait costs me an extra $400 in mortgage payments. That Mercedes didn't just steal my present, it stole my future. But Mia just shrugged, those keys still spinning. You'll figure it out. You always do. My phone rang. David's photo filled the screen, us at his sister's wedding, both laughing at something off camera. The table went silent. Answer it, Mia taunted. Tell him the truth. I did. Hey, babe. David's warm voice filled my ear. I'm at the venue. They need the deposit by Monday or we lose the date. The May slot we wanted. David, my voice cracked. What's wrong? You sound… Harper, what happened? 20 pairs of eyes watched me crumble. Mom looked satisfied, like this emotional display proved her point about my priorities. The money's gone. What do you mean gone? Harper, you're scaring me. My family took it. For a car. The silence on his end stretched so long I checked if we'd disconnected. All of it? His voice was hollow. Every penny. But your mom's name was only for emergencies. We talked about this. You promised it was safe. I know. My parents already sent the invitations to their side. Harper, we have 200 people expecting. I know. Mom reached for my hand. Tell him family helps family. He'll understand if he truly… I jerked away. Don't. Harper? David's voice was smaller now. What do we do? I'll fix this. How? The venue needs 12,000 by Monday. My savings can cover 8, but… She'll figure it out, Mia called out, loud enough for David to hear. She always does, right, Harper? Is that your sister? Is she really… I have to go. Harper, wait. I hung up. The phone immediately started ringing again. See? Dad finally spoke, disappointment heavy in his voice. This is what happens when you put material things above family. Now you've upset David for nothing. For nothing? I stood up, my chair scraping against the floor. You just cost me my wedding. Drama queen, someone muttered. I didn't care who. Mom stood too, her practiced patience finally fraying. Sit down. You're embarrassing yourself. No, you embarrassed me when you raised a thief and called it love. Gasps rippled through the relatives. The woman at the bar was definitely recording now. How dare you? Mom started, but I was already walking away, my phone buzzing with David's calls, Thompson's text still glowing on the screen. 24 hours, I called over my shoulder. You have 24 hours to return my money. Or what? Mia laughed. I stopped at the door, turned back, and smiled for the first time all evening. Or you'll find out what Grandpa really left me. I know that moment might sound harsh, but have you ever reached your breaking point with family who sees you as nothing but a bank account? If you've been there, comment boundaries below. If you think I was too harsh, comment family and tell me why. I'm curious. What would you have done in my situation? Would you have walked away like I did? Or would you have handled it differently? Before we continue to the confrontation that changed everything, please hit that like button if you want to see people stand up for themselves, and subscribe if you believe in justice being served. Now, let me tell you what happened in those 24 hours. Saturday morning, 9 a.m. They showed up as a unit. I watched through my apartment's security camera as Mom, Dad, and Mia stood in the hallway. Mom had her war outfit on, the red blazer she wore to parent-teacher conferences when she planned to fight. Dad carried his tablet, probably loaded with guilt trip photos. Mia was live streaming. "Open up, Harper!" Mom's fist connected with my door. "We need to talk like adults." I opened the door but didn't invite them in. "Where's my money?" "This is ridiculous," Mom pushed past me. "We're family." They filed into my living room. My space, my rules. Mia immediately started narrating to her phone. "So we're at my sister's bougie apartment where she lives alone because she's too selfish to turn it off or leave. It's my property," she smirked. "Free speech. Then freely speak outside." Dad set his tablet on my coffee table, queued up to a slideshow. "Harper, look, remember this? Photos of family Christmases, birthdays, graduations, all designed to break me." "I remember. I paid for most of those parties." "That's not the point." "Then what is?" Mom sat on my couch uninvited. "The point is we're family, and family doesn't steal." "It wasn't stealing," Mia protested to her audience. "The account had Mom's name on it. For emergencies. This was an emergency. A Mercedes is not..." "Enough!" Mom stood up. "You want the money? Fine. We'll set up a payment plan. Mia will pay you back." "When?" "When she gets a job." "Which is when?" Silence. "That's what I thought." I pulled out my phone. "Thompson? Yes, I'm ready. 1 hour? Perfect." Mom's face paled. "Who's Thompson?" "Grandpa's lawyer." The live stream suddenly ended. "What lawyer?" Dad's voice cracked. "Your mother handled the estate." "Did she?" I walked to my desk, maintaining eye contact. "Did she tell you about the meeting Grandpa had with Thompson 2 weeks before he died?" Mom's hand went to her pearls, her tell when nervous. "There was no meeting. August 15th, 3 years ago, Grandpa changed everything." "You're bluffing." But Mia's voice wavered. "Am I?" I opened my laptop, pulling up emails. "Thompson's been waiting for my call for 3 years." The room felt smaller suddenly. Dad sank into a chair. "Linda, what's she talking about?" "Nothing. She's making things up." But Mom's fingers were white around those pearls. "Grandpa knew," I said quietly. "He knew about the family taking advantage. He knew about Mom's spending, he knew about Mia's entitlement, and he knew about Dad's weakness." "How dare!" "He told me I was the only one he trusted, the only one who understood the value of $1. My phone buzzed. "Thompson. Documents ready, bringing witnesses." "Witnesses?" Mia grabbed Mom's arm. "What witnesses?" "The legal kind." I closed my laptop. "You have 45 minutes to transfer my money back." "We can't." Mom's composure finally cracked. "It's already in the dealer's name." "Then you better call them." "They won't return it. It's been driven." "That's your problem." Dad stood up shakily. "Harper, please. We're family." "Funny how that only matters when you need something." They left, but not before Mia hissed, "You'll regret this." I locked the door behind them and texted David, "Watch the news Monday." Thompson arrived with precision, 10 a.m. exactly, accompanied by his paralegal and a notary. His silver briefcase looked expensive, serious, final. "Miss Foster," he nodded. "I've been expecting this call for some time." "You knew this would happen?" "Your grandfather did. He said, and I quote, When Linda finally goes too far, Harper will need these. He opened the briefcase with practiced efficiency. Inside, documents lay in perfect order, each tabbed and labeled. Should we wait for your family? They'll be here. I checked my phone. Mom's panic mode is predictable. Sure enough, 10 minutes later, the doorbell rang frantically, then pounding, then Mom's key in the lock, the spare I'd forgotten she had. They burst in like a SWAT team. Mom, Dad, Mia, and surprisingly, Aunt Susan and Uncle Mike. We're here, Mom announced, breathless. Whatever this is, we're family. We should all. She stopped mid-sentence, seeing Thompson. Mrs. Foster, Thompson stood. I'm William Thompson, executor of William Foster Sr.'s complete estate. Complete? Dad's voice was hollow. But we already. You received what he wanted you to think you received. Thompson's smile was razor thin. The house, the basic accounts, yes. But the real estate portfolio, the investment accounts, the family trust, those were held separately. What trust? Mom demanded. Thompson pulled out a document holding it like a weapon. The Foster Family Revocable Trust. Established 3 years ago. Single trustee with full discretionary power. Who? But Mom already knew. Thompson handed me the document. Harper Foster. As of today, activated. 3 years ago, everything had been different. Grandpa's breathing was labored that August afternoon, but his mind was sharp as a blade. Thompson sat beside his hospital bed, documenting every word while I held Grandpa's hand. They'll drain you dry, Harper, he'd said, eyes fierce despite the morphine, just like they did to me. Grandpa, don't... Listen. His grip tightened. Your grandmother left me comfortable. I built it into wealth. And what did they do? Your mother spent $40,000 on a kitchen renovation while I was in chemotherapy. Claimed it was for my comfort. I hadn't known that. Your father invested $60,000 of my money in his friend's restaurant. Never asked. Just took it from the joint account. The restaurant failed in 6 months. Thompson had been taking notes, recording everything. But you, Grandpa's eyes softened, you asked to borrow $5,000 for college, paid back every cent with interest I didn't ask for. It was your money. Exactly. You understood that. He gestured to Thompson. Show her. Thompson had pulled out a folder. The trust documents. You'll inherit control of everything. The real estate holdings, the investment portfolio, the offshore accounts. Offshore? Legal. Declared, but protected. Grandpa had smiled then. $2 million in real estate. $3 million in investments. All generating income they don't know exists. Why not just tell them? Because they'd spend it before I was cold. His laugh turned into a cough. This way, you control it. You decide who gets what, when, and why. Make them earn it, Harper. Make them respect it. They'll hate me. They'll learn. Or they'll get nothing. Now, standing in my apartment, watching their faces cycle through shock, I finally understood the weight of that responsibility. Back in my apartment, I opened my laptop while everyone watched in stunned silence. Let me show you something interesting, I said, pulling up the family accounts. Mom, you're listed as co-owner on several accounts, right? Yes, joint accounts with your father and... Wrong. You're listed as an authorized user. Very different legally. I turned the screen toward them. Grandpa structured it this way on purpose. You could deposit and withdraw, but you never had ownership. Thompson nodded. Clever structure. Gave the illusion of control without actual power. But I've been managing those accounts for years, Mom protested. Managing, yes. Owning, no. I clicked through to the trust interface. Watch this. I typed in my credentials. One by one, account statuses changed. Foster family. Checking. Frozen. Foster investment portfolio. Frozen Foster. Emergency fund. Frozen. Linda Foster. Credit card. Suspended. Robert Foster credit card. Suspended. Mom grabbed her phone, frantically opening her banking app. It says, it says access denied. That's impossible. Dad tried his phone. Same result. The house, Mia whispered. What about the house? Thompson cleared his throat. The house is held in trust. Harper can initiate eviction proceedings if she chooses. Eviction? Mom screamed. From our own home? Technically, Thompson said mildly, it's Harper's home. Your tenants at will. I watched Mia's face crumble as she opened her credit card app, the one linked to Mom's account. My cards declined too. Declined. That's fraud. Uncle Mike stepped forward. You can't just... Actually, I can. I pulled up the trust documents. Page 47, Section 12. The trustee has absolute discretion in managing trust assets for the benefit of beneficiaries. We're the beneficiaries, Mom cried. Are you? I smiled. Show me where it says that. Sunday morning, Mia's Instagram meltdown went viral. My sister is insane, she screamed at her phone camera, mascara streaming. She's trying to make us homeless. 50,000 views in 2 hours. The comments started supportive until people did the math. Wait, you stole $127K from your sister? Girl, you bought a Mercedes with her house fund? This is the sister who's been paying your bills for years? Someone found my LinkedIn, then my company bio, then the detail that mattered. Senior Forensic Accountant, Corporate Fraud Division. Your sister investigates financial crimes for a living and you stole from her? The tide turned fast. By noon, Mia had deleted the video, but screenshots were everywhere. Hatch Mercedes thief started trending locally. Someone made a meme. Stealing from an accountant is like fighting a shark in the ocean. It's their territory. My boss called. Harper, I'm seeing some concerning social media activity. Family matter, sir. It won't affect my work. Is it true? The theft? Yes. And you're handling it legally? Completely. Good. Document everything. If you need our legal team for a civil suit, they're available. Thank you, but I have it handled. I'm sure you do. He paused. For what it's worth, I had a similar situation with my brother. Setting boundaries saved our relationship. Mom called 17 times. Dad sent 12 texts. Mia tried to go live again, but her account had been reported so many times that Instagram temporarily suspended her. The Mercedes dealership called me directly. Apparently, someone had alerted them to potential fraud. Miss Foster, we've been informed the vehicle purchased on Friday may have been bought with stolen funds. That's correct. We'll need to discuss retrieval. My lawyer will be in touch Monday. The spiral was beginning. Mom's breakdown came via voicemail at 2 a.m. Monday morning. Harper, please, I can't buy groceries. The gas station declined my card. Your father's blood pressure medication. The pharmacy won't fill it without payment. This has gone too far. Then Dad, an hour later. Your mother's crying. She hasn't slept. Is this what you wanted? To destroy your family? Your grandfather would be ashamed. But the one that almost broke me was from David. Harper, I don't understand what's happening, but your mom called my mother. She's telling everyone you've lost your mind. My parents are worried. Can we please talk? I texted him back. Come to Thompson's office at noon. Bring your parents if they want answers. Then I saw Mia's final attempt, a GoFundMe page. Help my family survive my sister's revenge. Goal, $50,000 raised, 0. The description was a masterpiece of manipulation, painting me as a vindictive sister jealous of her success. She forgot one detail. Our mutual friends knew the truth. The comments were brutal. Mia, you literally posted pics with the car you bought using Harper's money. Girl, get a job. This is embarrassing. Delete this. By 6 a.m., she'd taken it down. Thompson emailed. Your family has contacted 3 other law firms trying to contest the trust. None will take the case. The documents are ironclad. I responded, Good. Set the meeting for 11 a.m. Tell them if they're late, the offer changes. What offer? They'll find out. Thompson's email was brief. Documents prepared. Your family has agreed to 11 a.m. I dressed carefully. My best suit, the one I wore to board presentations. Professional. Untouchable. David texted, I'll be there. We need to talk after. The paralegal, Jennifer, had everything arranged in conference room A. 20 copies of each document, a court reporter, 2 witnesses from Thompson's firm. This is official? I asked. As official as it gets without a judge, Thompson confirmed. Your grandfather insisted on this level of documentation. He said, Make it bulletproof, I finished. He knew this day would come. He did. He also left you this. Thompson handed me a sealed envelope. His instructions were to give it to you before the meeting. My name was written in Grandpa's shaky handwriting. Inside, a single paragraph. Harper, they'll call you cold, heartless, cruel. Let them. You're none of those things. You're the guardian I chose because you understand that love without boundaries becomes exploitation. Don't give them everything. Make them earn it. Make them grow. That's the real gift. Stand strong. Grandpa. I folded the letter, put it in my pocket, and checked the time. 10:45 a.m. They'll be here soon, Thompson said. Are you ready? I've been ready for 3 years. Jennifer knocked. They're in the lobby, all of them. All? Your parents, Mia, both aunts, 3 uncles, and someone's filming. Of course they are. I stood, smoothing my skirt. Send them in. Before we get to the revelation that changed everything, I want to ask you something. What would you do if you discovered you had complete control over your family's finances? Would you use it to teach them a lesson, or would you immediately forgive? Comment, lesson. If you believe people need to face consequences, or forgive if you think family should always get another chance. Also, if you've ever had to be the bad guy to protect yourself from family taking advantage, drop a heart emoji in the comments. You're not alone. Don't forget to subscribe. The truth about Grandpa's will is about to be revealed. Conference room. A looked like a courtroom. Thompson stood at the head of the mahogany table, documents spread before him like evidence. The court reporter sat ready, fingers poised over her keys. My family filed in like defendants. Mom clutching Dad's arm, Mia with her phone, now recording openly, aunts and uncles filling the remaining chairs. David arrived last, choosing a seat near the door. His parents weren't with him. Please state your names for the record, Thompson began. One by one they complied. The court reporter's keys clicked steadily. We're here to discuss the Foster Family Revocable Trust, established by William Foster Sr. on August 15, 2021. Thompson lifted a thick document. This supersedes all previous estate planning documents. That's impossible, Mom interrupted. I have his will. You have a will dated 2018. This trust was created 3 years later, 2 weeks before his death. Thompson placed the document in the center of the table. Page 1 clearly states all previous documents are void. Dad reached for it with shaking hands. Why weren't we told? Because Mr. Foster specifically instructed that the trust remain confidential until activated by the trustee. Who authorized this? Uncle Mike demanded. Thompson pulled out another document. Mr. Foster, in the presence of 3 witnesses, myself, Jennifer Martinez, and Dr. Rebecca Chen, his physician who verified his mental capacity. This is fraud, Mia shouted. No, Thompson's voice was ice. Fraud is taking $127,000 from someone else's account without permission. This is estate planning. The room went silent, except for the court reporter's typing. Thompson continued. The trust holds the following assets: 4 commercial properties valued at $2.3 million. Investment portfolios totaling $3.1 million. 3 residential properties including the family home, all bank accounts previously thought to be jointly owned. Mom's face went white. That's everything. Yes, Thompson confirmed. It is. The trustee, Thompson announced, has complete discretionary power over all assets. He slid a document toward the center of the table. My name was highlighted in bold, Harper Foster, sole trustee. No, Mom whispered. He wouldn't. He did. Thompson pulled out another paper. This is Mr. Foster's letter of intent, explaining his decision. He began reading. I appoint Harper as sole trustee because she alone has demonstrated financial responsibility. In 8 years, she has never once asked for money, only borrowed once for education, and repaid with interest. Meanwhile, Linda has withdrawn over $200,000 for emergencies that included vacations, shopping, and cosmetic procedures. Mom gasped. Those were joint funds. Thompson continued reading. Robert invested $60,000 of my money without permission. Mia has received $45,000 in gifts she never acknowledged. The extended family has taken loans totaling $180,000, none repaid. Each number landed like a slap. Aunt Susan looked at the floor. Uncle Mike's face reddened. Harper will decide who receives distributions, when, and under what conditions. This is not punishment, it's protection. The family has proven they cannot manage money responsibly. You manipulated him. Mia stood up, pointing at me. You turned him against us while he was dying. Jennifer spoke for the first time. I was present at every meeting. Miss Foster wasn't there when these decisions were made. Mr. Foster specifically requested she not be told until necessary. Thompson added, in fact, Harper tried to refuse when we first informed her 3 years ago. Your grandfather insisted. David was staring at me with something like awe. You've known for 3 years and never said anything? Grandpa told me to wait until they went too far. I looked at Mia. A Mercedes bought with my house fund? That qualified. Check your phones, I said quietly. Mom fumbled with her banking app. It still says frozen. Keep reading. Her eyes widened. There's $1,000 in a new account. Monthly living allowance, I explained. Each of you gets the same amount, enough for groceries, gas, basics. 1,000? Mia shrieked. My car payment alone was. The Mercedes is being returned for fraud. You can't. The dealership already agreed. Turns out, using someone else's money without permission violates their financing terms. I pulled up the email on my phone. They'll be collecting it tomorrow. Dad checked his phone. The mortgage. It says paid. I'm not a monster. The house payments will continue. Utilities too. But the credit cards, the shopping accounts, the country club membership, those are gone. This is imprisonment. Mom stood up, shaking. You're controlling us. No, I'm teaching you what Grandpa wanted you to learn, how to budget. Uncle Mike laughed bitterly. And what about the rest of us? Same deal. Those who owe money to the estate will have payment plans created. Miss a payment, lose your allowance. You're enjoying this, Aunt Susan accused. I'm not. And I meant it. But I'm done being the family ATM. You want more than the allowance? Earn it. How? Mia demanded. Get a job. Keep it for 6 months. Show me pay stubs, and I'll match your savings dollar for dollar. That's humiliating. That's life. The court reporter's fingers flew across her keys, documenting every word. Thompson cleared his throat. There's one more matter. The letter. He handed me an envelope marked Final Terms. Inside, Grandpa's last surprise. I read Grandpa's final terms aloud. The trust includes a performance clause. Family members who meet specific conditions will receive their inheritance. Those who don't, forfeit it to charity. What conditions? Dad asked weakly. I continued. 1. Maintain steady employment for 12 consecutive months. 2. Complete financial literacy courses. I've already paid for them. 3. No requests for money outside the monthly allowance. 4. Repay any outstanding debts to the trust. And if we refuse? Mom's voice was hollow. Then in 5 years, everything goes to the Houston Foundation for Financial Literacy. Silence. Thompson spoke up. The Mercedes situation, however, requires immediate action. He placed a document in front of Mia. Sign this, acknowledging the fraudulent purchase, or face criminal charges. Criminal? Mia's phone clattered to the table. You accessed an account without the owner's permission and made a major purchase. That's wire fraud. David finally spoke. Harper, is this really necessary? I turned to him. They stole our wedding fund, our house fund, 8 years of our future. I know, but no buts. I pulled out my phone, showing him the text Mia sent me last month. Must be nice being rich. Some of us deserve nice things too. She knew what she was doing, I continued. Mom knew, Dad knew. They just thought I'd roll over like always. Thompson interrupted. Miss Foster, would you like to explain the clemency clause? I nodded. If Mia returns the car voluntarily, gets a job within 30 days, and maintains it for 6 months, I won't press charges. She'll also receive a bonus, enough for a reasonable used car. And if she doesn't? Then the district attorney gets involved. I looked at Mia. I've already consulted with them. They're very interested in a case involving $127,000. Mia grabbed the pen, signing frantically. Mom was crying now. Real tears, not manipulation. Harper, she whispered, we're your family. Yes, I agreed, which is why you're getting a second chance. Most fraud victims don't offer that. Let me be clear about the terms, I said, standing now, commanding the room like I did during board presentations. Mom and Dad, you keep the house, but it's in trust. You can't sell it, can't borrow against it, can't do anything without my approval. Try to, and you're out. They nodded mutely. Mia, you have 30 days to find employment. Any employment. Fast food, retail, I don't care. 6 months of steady work, and I'll match your savings up to $10,000. Enough for a decent car and a start on your own apartment. My own apartment? You're 26. Time to leave the nest. But those are the terms. I turned to the aunts and uncles. As for the extended family, your loans are now official. Interest-free if you make regular payments. Default, and I'll sell the debt to collections. Uncle Mike stood up. You can't treat us like what? Borrowers? That's what you are. I pulled out a folder. Mike, you borrowed $40,000 for a business opportunity 5 years ago. Never paid back a cent. Susan, $25,000 for your son's wedding. Also unpaid. Should I continue? They sat back down. Here's what's going to happen, I continued. Everyone gets financial counseling. Everyone gets a budget. Everyone learns to live within their means. In 1 year, if you've all complied, I'll release additional funds, enough to significantly improve your lives. How much? Mia asked. 50,000 each, but only if everyone succeeds. One person fails, nobody gets it. The room erupted. That's not fair. You're forcing us to police each other. This is manipulation. No, I said calmly. It's accountability. Something this family has never had. Thompson added, these terms are extremely generous. Most trustees would simply maintain the status quo indefinitely. Why? Mom asked me directly. Why are you doing this? Because Grandpa was right. You don't respect money you didn't earn, so now you'll earn it. Within 48 hours, Mia's life imploded spectacularly. The Mercedes was repossessed Tuesday morning. She tried to live stream it, playing victim, but the comments were brutal. Girl, you stole that car. Your sister is a saint for not pressing charges. Get a job, maybe? Her follower count dropped from 15K to 3K in 2 days. Brands that had sent her PR packages demanded them back. Her influencer career was over. but the real vindication came from my company. Harper, my boss called Wednesday morning. I've been following the situation. Legal says you handled it perfectly. Thank you, sir. We have a position opening, Senior Director of Forensic Accounting. Interested? That's a partner track position. You've proven you can handle complex financial situations and family politics. That's exactly what we need. The raise was $50,000, enough to rebuild my house fund in 2 years instead of 8. David and I met for coffee that afternoon. Your family's calling you heartless, he said. I know. My parents think you're brilliant. I looked up, surprised. My mom especially. She said anyone who can manage that situation without losing their cool is exactly who she wants in the family. He took my hand. The venue will hold our date for 6 months. I'll cover it until you rebuild your fund. David, no arguments. We're a team. Meanwhile, Mom discovered something interesting. Living on $1,000 a month was possible. She started shopping at regular grocery stores instead of Whole Foods. Dad canceled his golf membership without being asked. They were learning. The family group chat, usually full of requests for money, went silent. For the first time in 8 years, nobody asked me for anything. Thursday afternoon, the Mercedes was officially returned. Mia had to hand over the keys herself at the dealership. It's humiliating, she texted me. It's consequences, I replied. But something unexpected happened. The finance manager pulled her aside after. We have an opening in our customer service department, he said. Entry level, but with commission. Your sister mentioned you needed employment. My sister? She called yesterday, said you were looking for a fresh start. Mia got the job, $15 an hour plus commission. Not Instagram money, but honest money. Dad started driving for Uber. It's actually nice, he told me. Meeting people, no pressure. Made $200 yesterday. Mom was the surprise. She started a budget blog. Riches to Reality, Learning to Live on Less. Her first post went viral in the senior community. My daughter taught me something painful but necessary. Money isn't love. The aunts and uncles set up payment plans, small amounts but consistent. Uncle Mike even sold his boat to pay down his debt faster. I haven't slept this well in years, he admitted. Not owing money, it's freedom. But it was Grandpa's lawyer who said it best. Your grandfather would be proud, not because you were harsh, but because you were fair. You gave them what he couldn't. Consequences with compassion. Friday morning, I found a note under my door from Mia. I hate this, but maybe I needed it. Thank you for not pressing charges. I start Monday. It wasn't an apology, but it was a beginning. Saturday evening, Mom asked to meet at a coffee shop. Neutral territory. She looked different. Older maybe, or just tired of pretending. I've been thinking about your grandfather, she started. He tried to tell me once. Said I was teaching you kids that money grew on trees. What did you say? That family was more important than money, she laughed bitterly. But I wasn't teaching family values, I was teaching entitlement. Mom. No, let me finish. I accessed your account because I thought I had the right. You were successful, so you owed us. That's not love, it's exploitation. She pulled out an envelope. I sold my jewelry. It's only $8,000, but it's a start on paying you back. The trust handles repayment. This is separate. This is mother to daughter, an apology. I took the envelope, feeling its weight. I need you to know something, she continued. Your father and I, we're getting counseling, financial and marriage. We've been using money to avoid talking about real problems. Such as? Your father's depression after retirement, my shopping addiction, Mia's failure to launch. We threw money at problems instead of facing them. And now we can't afford to pretend. She stood to leave, then turned back. Harper, your grandfather left you more than money. He left you his backbone. Use it wisely. After she left, I opened the envelope. Inside, along with the check, was a photo. Grandpa and me at my college graduation. On the back, in Mom's handwriting, he always knew you were the strong one. 6 months later, everything had changed. Mia kept her job at the dealership. She was actually good at it. Her social media skills translated into customer service. She'd saved $4,000, and I matched it as promised. She bought a used Honda Civic and moved into her own apartment. "It's tiny," she told me, "but it's mine." Mom's blog had 10,000 subscribers. She'd turned budgeting into content, and companies were offering small sponsorships. "Ironic," she said. "I'm making money by learning not to spend it." Dad drove Uber part-time and taught senior swimming at the Y. "Structure," he said. "I needed structure." The extended family had paid down $75,000 in debts collectively. Uncle Mike started a small handyman business. Aunt Susan became a substitute teacher. They were becoming people instead of parasites. David and I set our wedding date. Next May, same venue, smaller guest list. "Your family?" the coordinator asked. "They'll be there," I said, "but they're not paying." At our monthly family dinner, now at Mom's house, potluck style, Mia raised her water glass. "To Harper," she said, "who loved us enough to let us fail." "And learn," Mom added. "And grow," Dad finished. They all looked at me expectantly. "To Grandpa," I said instead. Who knew that sometimes the greatest gift isn't what you give, it's what you make people earn? Later, as I drove home, I passed the bank where I'd kept my house fund. The account was growing again, faster now, with my promotion and no family drainage. But the real wealth wasn't in the numbers. It was in the boundaries. Looking back now, I realize Grandpa's final gift wasn't the money or the control. It was the permission to stop enabling. That house fund I thought I'd lost? I rebuilt it in 18 months with my new salary. David and I closed on a beautiful craftsman home last month. Mia helped us move. Actually helped, not supervised while texting. The trust remains in place, but I've loosened some restrictions. Mom and Dad can access their retirement funds now, with oversight. The aunts and uncles are ahead on their payment plans. Everyone attended the mandatory financial literacy courses, even Uncle Mike, who claimed he knew everything already. He thanked me afterward. "I didn't know what compound interest was," he admitted. "At 62 years old, I finally understand money. But here's what I want you to understand. Setting boundaries isn't cruel. It's necessary. Love without limits becomes exploitation. Help without accountability becomes enabling. Your family might call you selfish, heartless, cold. Let them. You know the truth, that real love sometimes means saying no, that protecting yourself isn't selfish, it's survival. Grandpa knew this. He watched his family drain him for years before taking action. His only regret, according to Thompson, was not doing it sooner. "Don't wait until you're dying to teach them," he'd written in one letter. "Do it while you can watch them grow." So I did. And they grew. Are we perfect now? No. Mia still makes snippy comments about her Honda. Mom occasionally mourns her designer bags. Dad misses his golf club. But we're real now. We're honest. We're family who respects each other's boundaries. And that Mercedes? The dealership has it on the lot again, marked down significantly. I think about buying it sometimes. Then I remember, some lessons are too expensive to forget. Thank you for listening to my story. I know it was intense, but sometimes the hardest boundaries to set are with the people we love most. If you've ever had to be the bad guy to protect your financial future, drop a comment below. What boundaries did you set? How did your family react? And if you're struggling with family taking advantage of your success, remember, you're not obligated to set yourself on fire to keep others warm. Please like this video if it resonated with you, and subscribe for more stories about standing up for yourself. What boundaries do you need to set today?